Hello again. This is Kat, and this is the third uh, video in my series, converting my audio or my blog into audio visual format. Step 3, surrender. Most addicts are ill-equipped to handle life for any number of reasons. An abusive childhood, being bullied, or having a parent or parents who are unable to help the child navigate through it effectively. Maybe they made it to adulthood and lost a parent, spouse, or worse, a child. For me, it was the loss of visitation with my child, facilitated by his grandfather with whom I'd placed him with. Quite often, those that turn to drugs after losing a loved one suffer from a form of codependence. I would later thank my mother for that one. This is often what happens when you build the foundation of your life around a person. If for some reason that person is removed, the sand on which you built your castle sinks. So addicts use drugs to avoid reality, pain, and misery. The only problem is when the drugs wear off, the problems are still there, and so the cycle repeats. This is what we in recovery call life on life's terms. The first step is that we must admit that we are powerless over our addiction. When you're ready to make this change, this step seems easy. Like I said, seems. The second and third are the ones most addicts will struggle with. Step 2, believe a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. Step 3, we made a decision to turn our lives over to a God of our understanding. Most addicts either do not believe in God or feel as if God has abandoned them. It is not until it is explained to us that our God can be whatever keeps us clean just for the day, and that it can be anything we feel is bigger than we are. It's about surrendering. Step 4, searching and taking a fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Whew, this one right here. It's the one that hurts and is the absolute hardest to do. This step is the one that most people, even non-addicts, try to avoid at all costs. This is the long, hard look in the mirror through all the dark, ugly bits of your soul that you have rejected for reasons that are your own. What the psychologist Carl Jung called your shadow. Those rejected pieces that you shoved down deep, maybe because you were told by someone that you love that they were foolish or bad, or in my case, when I told my mother that I dreamed of being a professional dancer, and she told me those were just silly pipe dreams. At the time, I never put much thought into what she said. Later, I would realize that it was that statement that instilled a sense of fear in me that kept me from trying anything that would express my creativity, because it was silly, and who would watch, read, or listen to anything I had to say anyway. That moral inventory, though, it is a bitch. And this one day's group session would prove the advice that my friend gave me before I went in to be true. I don't even remember what the topic was. All I know is the feelings of discomfort I was experiencing. Then I said something that set a guy off in the session, and he called me out on my bullshit. And the rage I felt prompted me to get up and walk out. I went straight to my room and dropped to my knees, and the scream that came out of me was from the depths of my soul. I have no other way of describing it. And then I cried like I never had before. You see, in that moment, I realized everything he said was true. In that moment, I realized I was the source of all of my problems. In that moment, reality hit me like a Mack truck, and I wanted to leave. In that moment, I looked up and asked God, please help me, for I cannot do this by myself. In that moment, I surrendered. Again, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed.